Hey guys, if you've ever considered going into destination wedding photography but just don't know the kit that you need to take away with you, well stick around because I've got just the answer for you. Hi guys, Peter Treadway from hybridpeter.com here. Thanks for joining me. I often get asked when I go away for destination wedding jobs, when I travel abroad, I get asked, what kit do I take and how do I take it? And I can completely understand. It's a big question these days because with airlines getting more and more strict with what you can take on board, and with no one really wanting to put their gear in as checked baggage in the hold, because that just causes a whole load of issues with potential for broken kit. It's a real struggle to decide what to take with you on a plane when you need as much kit as possible. As any wedding photographer will tell you, you can never have too much kit with you. So I get that question asked quite a lot, and I'm actually off to Dublin next week to assist my good friend Kathy Bateson shooting a wedding over there, one of her weddings. I'll be assisting on that, so I thought what better time to take you through the kit that I take than now. So starting off, the first thing that I'll take is actually the D810, Nikon D810 and 24-70 2.8 lens that I'm recording this video on at the moment. That's my main body, and that's the first body I'll choose when I go anywhere, to be quite honest. Fantastic low light capability on the D810, and with that fast f2.8 lens, it's great for dark churches and ceremonies, and perfect for the first dance or anywhere like that where you really need to gather in as much light as possible. Moving on from that, the second body, I won't call it a backup body because I'm always shooting with two bodies, so effectively I don't have a backup, but I do always take two bodies with me, and I'll always have two different lenses on them. So on my D700 I'll have the 70-200 f2.8. Now the D700 is a slightly older body these days, but again the low light capability on this is fantastic. Not quite as good as the D810, but still very, very good in terms of being able to get those low light shots and ramping the ISO up. And again, with the f2.8 lens, even better. The 70-200 I love because it's great for standing away from the action a little way and getting some really lovely candid shots of groups or even portraits. The last thing you want is to stand right next to a group of people at a wedding when they're having a laugh and a joke with each other and having a conversation, because people get terribly conscious of how they look in front of the camera. And so if you can back away from the action as much as possible using a longer lens to really then close in on them, you'll get much nicer photos. The most you can hope for by using a wide angle lens close up are awkwardly strained smiles as they look around at you waiting for you to take your shot, so you'll disappear and they can carry on with their conversation. So yeah, the 70-200 lens I wouldn't leave home without. The other lens in my arsenal that I take away with me is, to complete the Nikon holy trinity of lenses, is the 14-24 f2.8. Now, if I'm honest, this is probably the least used lens in my kit, but that's not to say it doesn't get its fair share of use. I'll generally use this for quirky portraits of the couple, or the main use really, where it gets the bulk of its use, is during the confetti shot. Because you can get some great shots of that as the couple are coming out of the church or the venue. You can get down nice and low, wide angle shot. You can get some really beautiful shots of that. Hands coming in, throwing the confetti, great expressions on the couple's faces. Really, really lovely shots with that. So that's definitely in my kit. Next thing, again, can't leave home without a tripod, and for me it has to be the three-legged thing, Viv. Now, I bought this probably 3 or 4 years ago now, never had a problem with it, and it is such a great little travel tripod. You can see how small it is, but it folds out. I won't go through folding out the whole way because it does take a short while, but to be honest, for the versatility of it, it can't be matched. It's got a number of leg sections, so it does extend quite a way, and it comes up to about 4 foot tall. So it's still a good height, but it weighs less than £3. That can go straight in your hand luggage, no problem at all. And again, as you can see, it just completely folds in on itself. Really sturdy, really compact, and a great little tripod. Now, the next thing I take are lighting products, and the first one is the Gary Fong Light Sphere. Now again, I bought this a few years ago, and it's the collapsible version, as you can see. Now this is a great diffuser when you're working in venues where there's really high ceilings, or you've got coloured ceilings which aren't great to bounce light off of. If I'm using on-camera flash, I'll pop one of these on my flash body. You put the cup on the top, and with that on your camera, diffused light coming out in all directions, and that is ideal really, because again, when you've got those high ceilings, it can be a real nightmare to bounce light off of surfaces to light your couple. So the Gary Fong collapsible light sphere, and again collapsible straight down to that size with the cup, and that will just take up no room at all in your hand luggage. The next product is another Gary Fong product, and this is the Snoot. And like any gridded, like a gridded softbox, or you get the egg crate softboxes, it's perfect for giving a directed beam of light onto the couples. I'll generally use this during the first dance, either to light the couple singularly, just so I only get those. I get a black background, and I'll just light the couple, get some beautiful portraits like that. Or I'll put it directly opposite me, behind the couple. That gives you some lovely light beams into the lens, lovely silhouetted shots of the couple. So yeah, that's another definite product that I'll take with me. To use those, you're not going to get very far without a couple of flashes. Now these are the ultra cheap Yongnuo products. Now, generally speaking, over the years, anything that comes out of China, as cheap as it may be, they're not particularly reliable. These flashes I've had for a couple of years now, never had a problem with them. And I know you usually say if you buy cheap, you buy twice, but again, they've been so reliable. I use them at all my weddings now. I've pretty much stopped using my Nikon SB700 flashes, just because these are great for getting off the camera. The two flashes and the trigger combined, I think I bought on eBay for about £60. So really, you know, cheap as chips. You can't get a cheaper flash, an off-camera flash than these. You can set them into separate groups as well, so you can fire them at different powers. Great little flashes, and I can't recommend those highly enough. To use those, again, moving on from that, batteries. You can never have too many batteries as a wedding photographer. These are the Panasonic Eneloop variety. For a number of years, I used to use Energizer, and I was quite happy with those. But since buying these, I find that the refresh times on my flashes are a lot quicker. They charge a lot quicker as well, and I've heard some really great things about these. So yeah, Panasonic Eneloop batteries are definitely the way forward from now on. The other thing I'll take is my Black Rapid double strap to hold both my cameras. I couldn't live without this. I used to have, the cheap Chinese version of this, but I think I bought about 4 of them and they just kept snapping. And the price I paid for the 4 of them, I could have just got the original Black Rapid. So I eventually bit the bullet, bought this. I must have had this about 3 or 4 years now. I've never had a problem with it. And it's great for hanging both cameras, so you can have one hanging down by your side while you're shooting with the other one. Quickly drop that one, bring the other one up. So yeah, really good product here. And the only other thing really that I'll take is my trusty MacBook Air. Now this wedding in Dublin that I'm going to, I'm actually travelling out late Friday evening, shooting the wedding on Saturday, and then flying back early Sunday morning. So it really is a whistle-stop tour. And what I'd usually use my laptop for if I'm somewhere a lot longer is I'll just start editing the photos straight away, because you know the key is get those photos done, get them to the couple as quickly as possible, and then you can move on to the next project. But in Dublin, I'm not going to be there that long. But still, I can. It's about an hour-long flight back to the UK from Dublin. Back to London, so I can edit some of the photos then as well and get those over to Kathy as soon as possible to get off to the couple. The other thing I use the laptop for is to back up my images. I was in Australia a couple of years ago shooting a wedding over there, and I must have taken 4,500 photos a day. I hate having that many pictures on one single card, because the last thing you want is for that card to go down and you've lost all of those images. So regularly throughout the day, I was coming back to to my laptop with my external hard drive, backing the photos up, taking the card out, backing the photos up, putting another card into the camera, snapping away, and then swapping them over and doing the same again later. So great for backing up on the go, but also editing, as I say. So yeah, that's pretty much it basically. I know there's not a lot here, but as I say, I like to really keep my kit scaled down when I go abroad, just because I want to lower the potential for anything to break, and so obviously the less kit I take, the less chance there is of that. If I'm honest, when I'm shooting a wedding in the UK, I'll take tons more kit than this. I'll basically take whatever I can fit in the boot of my car and off I go. But yeah, when I travel abroad, I've got the Low Pro. I think this is the Pro Roller X200. So this is just about cabin baggage compliant. So I'll be taking this with me. On airlines like EasyJet, they've recently got rid of their weight limits for their cabin baggage. So although the size limits you still have to comply with, they say as long as you can lift it into the overhead locker, they're happy with any weight. So that's really, really good because you can just jam pack that bag with whatever you want. Unfortunately, with Ryanair, who I'm flying to Dublin with, they still have that 10 kilogram weight limit. So I will still need to take some checked baggage, which is a shame because I will have to check some of this, which I really don't want to do, but unfortunately there's just no choice. So one other piece of kit that I really want to try and get away with taking with me are these lights here. Now these are my new Elinchrom ELB 400 lights. And if you don't know anything about the Elinchrom lights, the ELB 400 range, they're battery powered, so you can take this absolutely anywhere. And this battery will give you 350 full power flash pops at 400 watt seconds. Now that's an unbelievable amount of power from a portable unit. We're talking, studio flash power there. But you've got the battery pack, you've got the high sync transmitter, and then I've got my two tiny Quadra heads. Look at the size of those. Again, you can take those absolutely anywhere. And then on those, you'll need the adapters to go with them to use the existing range of Elinchrom light modifiers. But effectively, that's it. You can do away with this bag, and if I can fit this into my hand luggage, I absolutely will. I'm not sure I will with the weight limit. I might have to put this in checked baggage. If I can't get away with that, I'm going to have to leave it behind. I really don't want to because I really want to try these out at a live wedding. I've done a couple of test shoots out in the garden and in the studio, and they're absolutely fantastic. And I can't wait to use these on a live bride and groom. But yeah, fingers crossed I can take those away with me. These lights actually I bought from Wex Photographic in the UK. Now I should point out that Wex aren't paying me for this advertisement. I just think their service is fantastic. I ordered this kit on the Monday afternoon, I think it was, about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. By 2 p.m. the following day, this was in my grubby mitts and I was able to start playing with it. So if you're looking into the ELB range of lights or any range of Elinchrom lights, they do a fantastic range. Definitely have a look at Wex Photographic and they'll give you some fantastic service. So yeah, as I say, really want to take these away with me, and yeah, fingers crossed that I'll be able to make it work. So there we go, that's the kit. Let me know in the comments below what you would take, or if you think there's anything glaringly obvious here, thinking, wow, why didn't he take that? Or, wouldn't this be useful? Drop me a comment below and I'll answer the question as best I can, and hopefully give you a bit more advice. But yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you found it useful. But yeah, leave me any comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching and hope to see you again next time.